I'm coming today to talk to you about a book review. The book is Patriot by Alexei Navalny. For those of you who don't know who that is, he is a Russian individual that was unalived in a Siberian prison by Putin because he chose dissent. He chose to speak out against the things that he saw in Russia. And the book was really good. I recommend reading the book. There are some things I think that are significant, so I'm going to focus on those few things. He was exact same age as me within a few days. So that part was interesting to me because he tells his story about growing up in Russia and how things were to him. And it was very different than the narrative I heard growing up as an American, the things that I heard about Russia, having grown up in the Cold War era, was very interesting that his perspective on things were so different than the things I heard when I was a child. One of the big things that stands out to me is how he talks about one thing that was prevalent in their society was how dishonest the government was, how they lived by lies. And he quoted in his book another Russian writer called Vasily Shukshin. I might have not pronounced that correctly. But the quote that he wrote from Vasily Shukshin that he felt resonated with him when they were talking about the cover up of the Chernobyl incident is lies, lies, lies. Lies as redemption, lies as atonement for guilt, lies as a goal achieved, lies as a career, as prosperity, as medals, as an apartment. Lies. The whole of Russia was covered in lies like a scab. And I thought that was really interesting because I can draw parallels to what we're seeing here in America. And I know a lot of people compare what's going on in America to the history of Germany. And I can also see parallels with that. But if you read Navalny's memoir, it is absolutely fascinating how many parallels there are with the things that Putin implemented to things we're seeing currently. So for that reason alone, I do recommend the book. I do not think that his death got enough exposure. I'm sure there are some people who are aware of it, but it's very significant the way that they disappeared people, anybody who dissents and disagrees. And it's extremely dangerous. And we see that happening here. So I'm going to leave you with a quote out of the book, towards the end of the book, from Alexei Navalny. He did sneak some of these writings out from the prison. That's how he was writing the book most of the time that he was in prison, after he was poisoned and almost killed and in a coma, and he came out. He went back to Russia after he got well in Germany, and he felt like he needed to be with his people, so he went back. He felt like he needed to be there, and of course he got imprisoned and within a couple years was unalive. But some of the things and reflections that he wrote, we are able to read in his memoir because they were smuggled out of prison. So the thing that I wanted to leave you with is that he said about Putin, he will stop Ukraine from developing, he will drag it into the swamp, but Russia too will pay a high price. We have everything for massive 21st century development, but will again squander the historic opportunity of leading a rich, healthy life as a nation in exchange for war, filth, lies, and a palace with golden eagles in Galenzik. Putin and his senile thieves in the Security Council and the United Russia Party are the enemies of Russia and the main threat to it, not Ukraine and not the West.